In the meanwhile, I finished the 4-jaw chuck. I think it looks good. This plate works perfectly, no problem. Now there was a question from Greg, and he asked me, is it possible to take easily this chuck off to put back the 3-jaw? Well, indeed, it is very easy. All I have to do is take out these 3 bolts here on the back plate, no problem. The big plate on the 4-jaw always stays together. I never take them off. I take off here on the small one. Take it off, put the 3-jaw in place, hold with these 3 bolts, no problem at all. And I also made this one. So, welcome in the Pimp My Lathe part 2. I know it's not the title that's marked below this video, but in fact that's what we're gonna do. The idea today is to work on this tool post, tool holder, tool thing, this one. My idea is to make a plate that goes around. I have here a thing and I have the outlines. So what I'm gonna make is a square with the round hole. So this one goes in and maybe 1/10 of a millimeter bigger than, I'm gonna put it here, than this height. So this goes here and then the square goes around 1/10 of a millimeter higher, and the holder will push on this 1/10 of a millimeter, and I hope that will give me more rigidity. In the comment section someone told me that it's interesting if we see setups, we see machines working. That's nice, I like to see machines working, but what we don't see often is the setup, how to put a part on a machine, and that's what we're gonna do today on the shape. First of all, what I would like to do is cut out this square. Now, because here there's a hole in it, this corner here will be missing, but that's okay. I will put the tool post this side. Now I can cut this out with the angle grinder in about no time. This is a steel plate, 10 millimeters thick, so not too much. But as we're gonna talk setups, we're gonna try to cut it with the slotting tool in the shaper. So I have to find a way to put this plate on this table, and I cannot use a vise because I don't have a vise big enough. So what we're gonna do is build here a fence. That will prevent it from being pushed out of the workspace, out of the table. I need 90 millimeters. So this looks good. It's 94. That will do. Let's square it up. Forty-one. Okay. So for the shaper we do plus 20 millimeters because of 5 millimeters stroke length on this side plus 15 this side gives us 155, a little bit more than a 6-inch. 155 is not really marked here, but this is 140, 150, 155. The machine is set at 60 strokes a minute. So we have a cutting speed of just over 15 meters a minute, which should be in theory ideal for slotting. Before we turn the machine on, we always check everything, of course, if it's well tight and all. And of course, first of all, we're gonna crank it by hand, a complete turn, just to be sure that the dovetails are not gonna crash into this hold down system or something else. If this machine crashes in something, probably something is gonna break. Oh, and always take handles off. Before I continue, I'm gonna tighten the belt a bit more and we'll see what happens. I think I'm gonna stop this slotting experiment here. I think it could work. The machine is strong enough. I don't really have chatter problems. Only if I give a bit too much food up here. That's all. The tool survived almost. The only problem is the belt of the machine. So first I have to fix that problem, try to tighten the belt a bit more, or maybe put a new one on, I don't know what, I will see, and then I'm sure it will work. The slotting tool I used, of course you cannot see this way on camera, it's too small. Let's make it a bit bigger. Ooh, that's not good. More like this. Okay, that looks better. This angle 4 degrees. This angle 4 degrees also. I mounted my cheap vise on the shaper table and clamped down here with T-nuts, no problem, but this vise is a bit too large for the table, so I clamped it down with my made in Germany clamps. To line out the vise, I use a square, and then you look over this line of the square and this line of the table. Let's put in a pair of parallels. I leave enough stick out this side, which means we're gonna use work this surface and this surface in one go. Maybe not in one go, but I mean in one setup. That's the idea. Right. The tool I'm gonna use is this one. Let's make it a little bit bigger on the blackboard. I have here a relief angle of 4 degrees. This angle, this rake, is also 4 degrees. This one is 0, which means I'm gonna
tilt the tool a little bit in the shaper. That's gonna make me this angle about 2 degrees, and this angle, relief angle, also about 2 degrees. That's not much, but it's gonna leave me a better finish. I'm gonna start from this side and work my way to that side. So this will be the cutting side of the tool. I also, in one go, gonna cut this surface, same angle, which means the clapper box always looks at the cut. The relief angles are 2 degrees, as I said on the blackboard, about 2 degrees. The stroke length, set, position and length, no problem. Crank with hand just to be sure not to crash into something. So we could be ready to cut. All we have to do is set the cutting speed. The part we're gonna cut is 90 millimeters plus 20, of course, for the little voids we left before and after the cut. 90 and 20 gives us 110. Set the machine at 100 strokes a minute, gonna give us a cutting speed of about 17 meters a minute. Let's go for it. This is a 75/100 cut. It's a 3/4 of a millimeter. I think the finish looks decent. It's not a shear tool finish, of course, but for a roughing tool it's good enough, I think. So let's do a little bit deburr. I flip the part around. The finished surface is now, of course, below, and the other finished surface is against the fixed jowl. I left a bit of stick out, which means if I work now this surface, it will be perfectly square, about perfectly square with this one. So again, I can work 2 surfaces in one setup. These 2 sides are done. This small side and this one perfectly square, perfectly for what we do it's more than enough. All that's left to do is this side and this side, so the dimensions must be correct and must be square. Now it should be really easy to do the finished side against the fixed jowl and then work this side. But that's not what we're gonna do, because the idea of this video is setups. We're gonna change setup just for fun. The idea is to put this part directly on the table and put a fence here so we can push against and then square it up with a square. Square. I take my black thing here. It's a really multi-function thing. Because now this part is square with the table and this side is square. I'm gonna give it some overhang when I cut this side, it should be square with this side. Another possibility could be to build the fence in this line, aligned with the ram. We use the dial indicator, of course, put it this way, and then use this side. And then we're not gonna work square, but we're gonna work parallel. Possibility number 2. And of course I forgot to put my T-nut in first. The table is almost all the way up. The tool still doesn't touch the surface we want to work, and the ram is gonna touch this bolt. So we're gonna lower down again, take the tool out and put it in the extended tool holder, as I call him. This is gonna work. I located the center of my part, which is absolutely not complicated to do. It's located normally somewhere in the middle, so no problem. And then of course with this bar I indicated the thing in the forjow. I installed my boring bar, which I think to do boring operations is a good idea. Let's drill it out and make a bore of 80 millimeters in here. I'm not gonna go too far into it because there's so much real good YouTubers who can explain and show way better than I do. We're gonna take it out. The finish in the boring looks good. That's always nice to have. Just have to do a little deburr. Let's give it a try. Yes, that looks good. Perfect. Maybe I can give you a little bit a cancer update, because yes, indeed I have cancer, but don't worry, everything goes well.
The only problem is, of course, my hair is leaving me, but they promised me it will grow back, so we'll see. And of course, after every treatment, during about 1 week, I have this outdated washing powder taste in my mouth, and that's a little bit annoying. Of course, I never tasted outdated washing powder, but I suppose it tastes like that. Now, making parts like this on machines and you don't have the right tools to do it, you see it's possible. Even if you don't have a 4-joule chuck on your lathe, you can always make a little back plate and clamp it down on the back plate, find the center. It's not too hard challenging with the center point system. Make the hole and everything is possible. I'm perfectly aware that most of you people know all these things, how to set up parts on machines and all, but I thought maybe I can dedicate this video to all of you who just started machining, and I hope you have lots of fun with it.